Welcome back to EB's Real Talk. This conversation has been enlightening for me, and I hope it's been enlightening for you. We'll continue on, and this time we're gonna bring this segment to something that's been dear to my heart, is suffering history. I don't call it Black history.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it was like the suffrage movement for minorities. One of the things you brought up earlier was, and we alluded to, was media perception. The one thing that I found out in my search was, and you let me know how you feel about it, was the common theme in all of every, I think about Miss Colvin, the 15-year-old girl in Alabama who had first got the attention. She did not break a law on the bus. She did not break the law, but it started some little ruckus about, I can't believe they harassing her on the bus. They didn't arrest her until she did anything wrong. This was right before Rosa Parks had the same incident, but this time Rosa Parks sat in the front. This girl didn't even break the rules, even though Rosa Parks wasn't arrested and Miss Colvin wasn't arrested. The result was the same. Agitated majority of people, which at the time was white people. The same can be said. So here we are. The perception of the media, which blew that case up. All right, and got people all frustrated. The police and their reaction to it. Okay, the same can be said about the other cases, the present cases now, and the same could be said about Tulsa, Oklahoma, which sparked that. The media blowing up the fact that the young man may have tripped in the elevator and fell on the Caucasian girl. Didn't really harass her. He was never arrested, and the perception from the media and how they built it out and got everybody riled up. We have repeated the same cycle now, at my last count, 50 times. The perception of the media, do you think the media actually, if you had to blame one specific group for inciting the problems we have now, is it fair for me to say that the media is the biggest culprit, just like it is with the Islamic problem, perception of what Muslims is the media? Would you say the media is a problem?
The media works for somebody. Okay, they're not just the media making their own mind up across the board to come up with the same story everywhere. That's coordinated.
Okay, so you say the media, we're down that rabbit hole. We go in there, and when you say the media works for somebody,
right?
And that somebody, if you would say, what would you say that person is?
I don't know who it is, but they're not. It's not the president, because he doesn't control anything.
Okay.
When he took the oath of office, there's an oath that you take that everybody sees, and then there's another oath you take behind the door. And if you break that oath, they kill you. The same people who guard you, they got access to. You remember the Praetorian Guard and Julius Caesar?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what happens is the media is a mouthpiece for the people who maintain the status quo.
Okay, and to that point, I was just fascinated, and to say the least, about the process leading up to Tulsa, Oklahoma riots, the Black Wall Street, and even going back to Alabama. Okay, for instance, there was white people who own companies that even in the bus boycott, that were offering their cars, driving their black people to work.
Right.
Because they're like, we got to do with this. We want to get these people to work, and and they start passing ordinances to get those white people back in line.
For sure.
Right?
Sure.
It's the same that happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma, when the white people, okay, so now let's flash all the way forward to this, where we set a black chief of police up to make these statements, which seems to contradict what we're saying. Hey, we're the victims. You're not killing white kids at this rate. But he is so sold out to his particular view of the system that he's willing to give. What do you say about things like that?
It all goes back to this. People take orders, and when they get a paycheck, they have to follow the rules that go along with that paycheck. Okay? And if this is something that you're supposed to be doing that goes along with the job description, they wouldn't pay you if you weren't doing what went along with the job description. You would get fired. The job description is to mouth the philosophy of the status quo. Period. Tulsa, go back. They always go get their drones to do the dirty work. They get the dummies. You understand? Who say that? And it's always the same story. Somebody's trying to take something away from you. Somebody's trying to change your life. In a civil war, for instance, only, I think it was less than 11% of the people who fought in the Confederacy owned slaves. You understand? The rest of them were just like the people you see now. You understand? The lynching parties that you would see when they have these pictures of the black lynchings and stuff, those white people there, those are the same ones that they can always give them a cold beer, a picket sign, the sports page, and tell them the niggas did it. They don't have a brain, man.
The lynchings, when you bring up
that's the grand jury. The lynchings that you see, that crowd there, number one, the police, they're not people who graduated from Harvard.
That's correct.
Okay? They're the people who live right next door to the guy who's the head of the grand jury. That's his neighbor. The butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker is his neighbor. And so you think he's going to convict them or arrest them? No.
Do you think?
Never.
Do you think, if you had to point to one thing of why we haven't had any justice in that part of it, that would be it? That it's all related. They're all related.
It's all related. Mm-hmm. There's no coincidences here. There's no way in the world that you would get the right to vote if the right gave you power. Your money is worth more than your vote. And I say that to say this. Every time a black child, a black person is murdered by the police, you understand, what do the black people do? They go get mad, they go out, they maybe go in and break in the store and steal stuff that they shouldn't have been buying when they had the money to get it in the first place. Yeah. Okay? They get arrested, there's more money for the court. There's bond money, there's lawyer money, now you can't go to work, and all the rest. So it's the same program over and over again.
In fact, that's what the Attorney General found very prevalent in, I want to say, St. Louis. He found that these people were, because they were low income, they were charging these high bonds, and it just became a system for them to make money.
Listen.
Yeah.
They can't just go out right. They could if they wanted to. Nobody would say anything. But at this point, they just can't go and slaughter black people just wholesale like some of them would like to do. Mm-hmm. So what you have to do, you have to turn them into a commodity. Turn them into a business. You understand, the prisons, that's a business. Yeah. You understand, fining them. The beginning of the month, when they have all the traffic stuff set up, where I live, not too far from here, over a 3-day period, they must have stopped 50 or 60 black people, you understand, giving them tickets. Now, they shouldn't have done that, but they did to get the ticket. They should have obeyed the law and not went up that street that they shouldn't have gone up. But how many white people was going up the streets in their own neighborhood? They don't have traps set up there for them.
If the
biggest problem, EB, is if you really want to remedy all of this stuff with these black people being murdered by the white police, take the white police, put them in their own neighborhood, and put black police there. But they're not going to do that. You know why? Because they're not there to protect you in the first place. It's there to manage your success, like this entire system is set up to manage your success and to manage your failure. This is managed. This stuff is not just a coincidence.
If you had to say, man, so much here. The what was really an eye opener for me is that there was a commentary that said that the strategy in the Brown Board versus the Education bill,
Brown versus
the Board of Education. I'm sorry. The strategy was to use segregation of schools as a catalyst to get the bigger things done. All right. I think they lost that fight because here's why. And so I want to see what you think about that. I believe that they got so caught up in that little miry thing, they lost it anyway, and they never got the big thing done in the first place. So it was really just a waste of time.
Well, when they saw the impact on the African American community when segregation was lifted, okay, and you were able to go spend your money now at a white store instead of the black store that the guy was taking care of his family, the dentist, the doctor, the lawyer, all lived in the same neighborhood. Now, the only thing that integrated was your money, because nobody loved you when the law got passed.
So do you think segregation damaged our people?
It damaged them almost beyond repair.
Do you think segregation, I'm going to ask this again, yes. Do you think segregation hurt more than it helped?
It hurt more than it helped.
And why?
Simply because of the fact when we talk about money, and this whole thing is based on money.
Yes, sir.
It's not based on morality or none of the rest of that. That's fake. Okay? What it's based on is money.
Yeah.
Okay, now you had the black store owner. He could take care of his family. He could do he send his kids to school, whatever school they could go to. All of these things happened where the money stayed in our community. After segregation, the money rotated in the community one time. And now there's no money in the community. You don't own any manufacturing, nothing. And if you did own any manufacturing, they wouldn't buy your stuff anyway.
And the failure of Wall Street, it did partially rebuild until segregation happened. And when segregation happened, the rebuild diluted. In fact, right now in Oklahoma, those are barren areas being bought up by the city to rebuild these things that do not. Even the black councilmen there are saying, how is this going to benefit the families? Yeah, so let me clear up something. We keep saying segregation, and I apologize for that. We are not crazy. So desegregation is what we meant. Desegregation is what we're alluding to,
right,
which happened because now we're spilling money into the dominant culture at the time was the white people. Now we're spending money into their neighborhoods and not spending it inside of ours, right?
Well, see, what happens is, what you have to understand is, you have to go back to the very beginning when we came here, okay? We were never brought here to compete with white people. We were always brought here, to work for nothing, to be marginalized, to be discriminated against, to be undermined, and never allowed to develop. Every single time that, so you talking about desegregation. Okay, even if you had segregation in your own neighborhoods where you had everything, they would come and blow it up. Because what happens is they are afraid of your competence. Because they know, and they look at everything from like a sports situation. Blacks couldn't play quarterback because they couldn't think. They couldn't play tennis. They couldn't play golf. They couldn't do nothing. According to them, they can't swim. They couldn't do nothing. Okay? So what happens is they have these drones put in place. The ignoramus white people. Okay? They have them there ready to destroy everything that you come up with. You know what them niggas doing over there, don't you? They getting ready to take your jobs, or they getting ready to do this to you, or they getting ready to do that to you. Okay? And so they have them on standby to undermine whatever you get done. So if you had, like we did have, our own communities, our own banks, they were getting ready to do business with the Oklahoma situation over in Europe and every kind of place. They don't want it, man. It's the status, it's the people who run the story, not the dumb white people. They don't run nothing.
So, yeah. Is it fair that we say, and I've been accused of it sometimes, if we blanket all white people?
No, you can't do that because they're, like I said from the very beginning, the bottom line is good and evil.
Okay.
Okay? No. You wouldn't have a lot of things that you do have and have some of the breaks that you did if you didn't find white people who had good consciences and they were good, decent human beings.
Do you think, and so I agree with you. Right. My stance is
broad brush nothing.
Yeah, because I don't want them doing it to us. So, and I found some great benefits in giving them a chance to prove what they said they're going to do, right, and it's beneficial to me. Do you think we make the mistake of generalizing them so much that we alienate them like they alienate us?
Well, personally, I don't do that.
Yeah, but do you for the powers, the
right,
black people that happen to have some kind of power?
Well, this is what happens. is orchestrated. There are no mistakes here, okay? The media is orchestrated. They're under orders to follow a standard line of projection, okay? What happens is first you have a seed. That seed develops a root. That root develops a trunk of a tree. The tree has branches and limbs and leaves. Okay, you're looking at the branches and the limbs, but the problem is the root. And you can't stray from the root. The root of the problem is the intention of the people who run the world. It's to their benefit to keep people divided. It's to their benefit to keep people at each other's throat. It's their benefit to pit black against white. It's their benefit. That's the media's job. That's what they do.
And what do you say to the people that are really, really ready and willing to help start the seed of redemption, resolving the problem? What do you say? Okay, where do we start? Let's start right here. If you had this place?
People have to go back to what part did they play in this? What part are they continuing to play in this? What part is it? Just like the story you were saying that they had to go and put the white people back in line. Oh, they'll do that. If you get out of line, I remember when I think it was the 700 Club or someone, one of those when doing 911.
Okay.
They were talking about this was the curse of God on America.
Yeah.
President Bush made one statement to them. He said, "What you're saying is not productive." That's all he had to say. You never heard anything else from them because they got it. They understood. It was like, oh, okay, well, that's all right. The next thing you know, he let them know through the media, this is the road we're going to travel. Okay? Bush said, either you're with us or you're against us.
That's right. Those are famous people.
So, and he's not just talking to everybody. He's talking to specific people who was giving him static about the direction that he was taking. Mm-hmm. Okay? They don't. You think they're buying tanks and guns and bulletproof weapons and all that for us? They can control black people with the gangs that they created. Okay? So what's the benefit? The benefit is divide and conquer. It always has been that way. You have courageous white people that will stand up and say that's wrong. Mm-hmm. Okay? But they'll send their boys, the Klan that they keep on the sideline, all of these groups that they have, these groups are kept there until they're needed. It's a toolbox, man. You just reach in and get a wrench. If you need a wrench, you need a screwdriver, you need a hammer. You understand? These people are tools. You understand? So there's not no this thing over here and that thing over here. It is one thing. This one. It's evil. And the people who are doing it, who I have no idea who it is, but I don't have to know them to see them. You understand? It's either you're good or you're bad. There's no in between. There's no, well, no. There's you either good or you're bad. And people make choices. They either choose to be this way or choose to be that way.
Do you think that we have damaged, when I say we, minorities, it's mixed in with Hispanics and blacks, do you think that we've not done enough to get our own selves in a conscious mind?
We've done plenty, man. It's undermined. Okay, we've done plenty. We have so many black geniuses and so many, these people are destroyed from teens out, breaking up the family, keeping the father isolated from the children. You understand? That's part of the problem. You never get an opportunity to take your ideas and put them in place because there's always somebody there to undermine you. That's the whole programming. Undermine, marginalize, undercut, destroy, imprison. That's the whole piece for you. There are no, those are just branches with leaves. It's the trunk, it's the root. The root of the problem is that the intention is for you to never be free, to never own a manufacturing facility that they're going to buy anything from. Yeah. And if they give you something, they would give you $25 million if they felt that giving you $25 million wouldn't help you. They'd give it to you. But they wouldn't let you have $10 if they figured that $10 was going to make you free.
Do you have hope? Do you have hope that some things will change? And what do you, and if not?
All I look forward to is the day of judgment. Period. Because it's not going to change. How are you going to change We have a statement in the Quran that says Allah will not change the condition of a people until they change the condition that exists inside themselves. You're going to see, you going to the casino. You're spending all of this money here. Some black person get killed, you go shopping. You understand? You spending thousands and thousands of dollars buying ice cream and wine and beer, and after these black people get killed. What about if you just stay home and don't go nowhere on Saturday night? Okay, they're talking about the black business. No, man. We don't manufacture anything. Who it's going to impact is the manufacturer, because his goods can't be sold. And if his goods can't be sold and nobody's buying them, you understand, the CEO of that company is going to get fired because they're not meeting the projections that they've made in terms of their stock. All right? Yeah. So all of that other stuff is just peripheral garbage. You understand? None of that stuff going to work. If you want justice in the black neighborhood, and that's definitely not going to happen. Because that's not the intention, man. These people are not confused. Like, well, we're trying to figure out how we're going to... They're not going to indict them. They're not going to arrest them. They're not going to convict them. Ever. Ever. Never. Because that's not the intention.
So what do we do? What do you think?
The best thing you can do in the interim, stop spending your money. Stop going to the club. Stop buying cigarettes. Stop buying liquor. You understand? Stop going to the casinos. Just stop. You understand? When you got a grocery bill, when you go into the store, half of the stuff in your grocery cart you can't even eat it. Okay. You eat bleach. You understand? No. You understand? So stop spending your money. Okay, good, because that was the intention in the first place. Take your money and marginalize you, throw you to the wolves. So you don't have no money. You're not spending no money. Then it's like, well, wait a minute, hold on, man. These people ain't spending no money, man. You understand? Stop looking at TV. You got a guy that can't hardly even buy food for the month, but he got a $120 cable bill. You don't need television. You understand? That's somebody telling you their vision. You don't have no vision. You understand? I write my own vision. My stories start and end the way I want them.
In the Christian Bible, it says when people have no vision, they perish. Listen, real quick. This has been interesting. I thank you for being upfront and honest, and I thank you for not being scared to go down the rabbit hole. That's what this show is all about. You brought up a lot of good points, and I want to make sure that we continue this conversation. I have one of your books here. It's called Approaching the Ninth Dimension. It's only one of 15 or 14 books, and he goes by the pen name of C.E. Shy. Right. Go and Amazon.com. Right. Amazon.com and go look it up. There's other books there. It's a book of poetry. Right. But I haven't read a lot of poetry, and there are some things in here that I kind of liked, and I kind of intrigued me. And as you got to keep reading, then you start having a better understanding of it. Yeah. One of the things you said here in closing, where you went in, you was talking about this judge who had did all these ill deeds and deeds and got rid of people and all these other things, and I thought about the recent final judgment of the judge, right, who was locking people up. Did you write that before? Did you see that? It was just coincidental?
No, it never changes. Okay, it's always the same. All right. So anything that I write about has already happened and it's going to continue to happen.
I talked about earlier. So again, go out and buy the book. This is one of many books, and look them up on Amazon.com. And I thank you for even giving us a time. We went down the rabbit hole. I thank you, and God bless you, brother.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for tuning in to EB's Real Talk. Hey there, brothers and sisters. This is EB Smith. Real Talk is me helping you by giving you information. I know you will be inspired to be a greater you. And with a greater you, our communities are better and our world is better. But I want to reach more people. To do that, I need your help. Will you subscribe and share my videos? Tell everyone what we're talking about here on Real Talk. Another way to partner with me, donate $1. That's donating just $1. Go to PayPal and send ebsrealtalk@gmail.com. Go to PayPal, donate $1, send ebsrealtalk@gmail.com. Since we don't like the world we live in, let's change it together. Thank you. Writing a book can be daunting, but once you get past the daunting, there's always the cost of getting it published. And many times that usually hold people up from doing it. Uptown Publishing is offering supporters of EB's Real Talk a wonderful opportunity to have their books published for only $250. That's 75% of the regular standard publishing package price. You supply the book cover art, a synopsis of your book, and your pre-edited manuscript, and here's what you'll get: 100% control of your book, 100% profits from your book, and your own dashboard. That's $250, which is 75% of a regular standard price. 100% of control of your book, 100% of profits. If you're interested in it, go to uptownmediaventures.com. Go to uptownmediaventures.com and go to the Contact Us page and put in EB's Real Talk. Or mention EB's Real Talk via email at uptownliterary@gmail.com. That's uptownliterary@gmail.com. Congratulations to all of you to your future as an author.